What's up, Jokers? Today, I just want to talk a little bit about my Hurricane deck, the one that I use to win my membership ring challenge, and a couple of little things. That's not really important, 4-0 and everything, but that's in the past. It doesn't matter. So, your competitor is Hurricane Helms. He has 10 power, 8 technique, 6 agility, 9 strike, 5 submission, and 7 grapple. His gimmick is when you shuffle your deck, draw one card. Because he's a hurricane. When hurricanes happen, your deck gets shuffled, you get the bonus, you get a plus from it. So aside from him being one of my favorite wrestlers ever, I just really like that ability. His submission finish is category 6 leg lock. It gives you +1 to technique, +2 to submission. You get to shuffle 6 cards from your discard pile into your deck. And on top of that, you get to draw afterwards. So it's like you get a bunch of double bonuses. It gives you a 9 technique and a 7 submission on your finish rolls. So you're looking at 2 9s and a 10 at the very least. I mean, you can still roll a 6 and botch, but it is what it is, right? Super powered choke slam, his finish grapple. I have the original print one. It's +3 to submission, +2 to grapple. Shuffle one card you have in play into your deck. The updated text is shuffle one other card. So technically you could shuffle this card in. You would lose your bonuses was the ruling. So you would probably want to shuffle something else back in. Then you get to draw after that because he's a hurricane. The +3 to sub gives you an 8 and +2 to grapple gives you a 9. So again, you're looking at 9, 9, 10. You can still roll a 6. So as finishes, those are pretty good. His Eye of the Hurricane of the finish strike gives you +2 to agility, +1 to strike, and +1 to grapple. When it's in your discard pile and you roll agility, you can shuffle your deck and draw. So that's every time you roll agility, you get to shuffle, which pretty much means you get to draw. It gets +2 to agility, which makes it an 8, +1 to strike, which makes that a 10, and +1 to grapple, which makes that an 8. So you get a bunch of 8s. You can still roll a 5, but you get 2 10s, and it's okay for the most part. I mainly just use it for the shuffle part, but that didn't always work out because there's cards that blank your discard pile text, so that was always fun. Not the entrance that I chose to use for him after trying a bunch of different ones was Fighting Champion Spirit, End of an Era. At the start of the match, you may shuffle your hand into your deck and take a new starting hand. If your opponent has more cards in their hand than you, draw one card. If this match is not a steel cage or bird cage, your first turn roll is -1. So, start of the match, I could literally just look at my hand and go, I don't like this, and shuffle it back in, and then get a brand new hand plus a 1 card extra because I drew. And if they happen to be playing Champion of Kickstarter, I would draw another card to bring me up to 5. Just because I want to use the ability. And for other competitors it might not be that great of a card, I guess, but like the -1 to turn roll on your first turn roll is like whatever to me, because all of the pluses that you get from it just outweighs that, in my opinion. Okay, so let's start with the stops first. And these stops literally only exist to stop. They don't do anything else. Like Falling Power Slam because I have a 10 power. Running Lariat because my strike is a 9. And Leg Lock at 21, mostly because I didn't have any beat down in the corners. I would probably play beat down, but like I have a lot of those effects and I'll get into that in a little bit. So Leg Lock just ended up being, all right, we're just running Leg Lock because it's a consistent, like a reliable stop, and I don't run a stop at 15, which would be because my technique is 8, and I just have bad luck with running a single leg crab at 15 when your tech is an 8, so I just never ran it. I ran something else. Derailed, I ran at 6 because you stop. Not only do you stop a strike, but you get to shuffle and draw 4 new cards, and it'd be 5 for me. So you get the hand reset, and you get a bonus because you're playing the Hurricane. At 3, I played double headlock, mostly because if I needed to play it aggressively, I can flip a card. Or like if I have a lot of shuffle effects in my hand, for instance, and nothing to shuffle, I can just play double headlock, and now I have something to shuffle, and I might draw that card back, but at least I get to shuffle my deck, and I get to draw a card. Shoulder snap. This line became my go-to for finish stops. It's stop any finish strike. Shuffle one card from discard pile in your deck, so you get to not only stop a finish, you get a card back into your deck from your discard, and you get to shuffle, so you get to draw. Like, there's a lot going on with the Hurricane usually. Same with axe kick. Stop any finish grapple at number 25. Blindside kick. Again, like I was saying, it's the flip one line. Blindside kick at 19. If there's nothing in your discard, or you just want some more fuel to shuffle back into your deck, you can just play it aggressively to flip. If not, it's a C1 stop one, stop any grapple. Same with chop down. Chop down at number 1. You can flip or stop any lead grapple. Snap kick, I kind of went for just for a little bit more, like just one card that lets me draw. Even though lets my opponent draw 2, but it's just one more card for me. Like, the pluses you get from playing Hurricane, I'm like, well, I don't want to play another flip because I might have to be in a position where I play it and then I flip something I don't want, or I'll not want to flip at all and I'll have only that card to play. So I'm like, all right, well, snap kick will balance it out a little bit. Stop a follow-up grapple. Each player draws a card. High impact, like probably for snap kick, you could probably get away with running like Apocalypse 2, but that's neither here nor there. That's just what I chose to do. For a high impact backdrop is the skill. I was waiting for so long to get this back in stock. But number 20 is your C1 stop one sub. Shuffle 2 cards from your discard pile into your deck. So you get your C1 stop one on submission, and you get to shuffle 2 cards and draw one because you know the Hurricane. Grab hold of the ropes at 26. That's my stop any finish submission. Get to shuffle. Tandem takedown was another flip stop. It stops in your lead submission. You get to flip if you need to. So early on when I was playing it, I noticed that I would be going to flip. I'd be going to shuffle, but there'd be nothing to shuffle. So then that's why I went back and I started adding in the flip stops. And it really helps a lot. I mean, it's just to get your shuffle cards off so you can get an effect to draw. Like, that's what I used it for. At 5, I went for going over the table. Mainly because I don't think I hardly ever use it as an actual stop, but you get to draw a card and then shuffle a card from your discard pile into your deck, and then you get to draw again. So I was like, all right, this is ridiculous. And then if you get to crowd meter 2, which usually happens in Hurricane because he's kind of a longer game type of competitor, so if you get to crowd meter 2, you also have a stop. So it was really good. Like, this card is kind of a tech card, but I figure I added into this section here. So Lucky Shot added a number 10, actually added after the membership ring challenge. I forget what I was playing at 10 before, but I added in Lucky Shot because when you're really rolling with Hurricane, you get a lot of cards. You can draw a lot of cards to hand. So Lucky Shot, if you're getting your leads into play, you just build your hand size. I rarely ever, I can't say I ever use the first effect. If you have fewer cards in your hand, then your opponent draw one card. I don't think I've ever used that effect, but your maximum hand size is +1 for each lead you have in play. I use that a lot. I played some games with Hold the Line Harry, and that was like the biggest clutch card. I found myself relying on Lucky Shot just to have a huge hand from all of the cards I was drawing. And you know, with the draw cards I play, I draw a lot. Lariat Takedown. Flip one card, Lariat Takedown, 360 Lariat, kind of self-explanatory. You flip one card, you take 2 cards from your discard pile and shuffle them into your deck, draw 2 cards, and then you draw another card afterwards because you're the Hurricane. Like, so they're at 22 and 23 respectively. They're already good cards, but when you play them in Hurricane, now you're drawing 3 cards. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. Taunting Takedown, I think I added in after the membership ring challenge too. I can't remember, but this card is really good in Hurricane also. Reveal the top, it's at number 8. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 to your hand, and then shuffle the others back into your deck. So you see where we're going with this. You get to reveal 3, even though your opponent gets to see what you draw, but it's okay. You reveal 3, add 1 of those to your hand. You shuffle the other 2 into your deck, and then you draw again because you're the Hurricane. Like, so it's kind of ridiculous. Crossblow at 24 was the only one of this line that I put in, mainly so I can search for my my 2 stop any strikes. like the stop fin or the C1 stop one and the finish. So I could always have one of those or my 15, which I'll get to in a second. But this is really good. So even if you were to play, I can't remember the name of it, the one that gives you +2 to technique, barrel. I have the card, but I can't remember the name of it at this moment. I'm drawing a blank. It's if your opponent has 2 strikes, you can stop any strike, and you get +2 to technique. Like if you wanted to play that in Hurricane, which you can, Crossbow is also good because you can just search for that. And Face Stretch was the lone like shuffle card at number 9. You can draw one or take 4 cards from the discard pile and shuffle them into your deck. Then you get to draw a card. So that's why that was really good for obvious reasons. And then like these 3 cards were kind of like solo, like they served a very specific purpose. Like Rainbow Punch, I initially put Rainbow Punch, it's number 7. Search your deck for 1 strike and put it into your discard pile, then shuffle your deck. Or shuffle 2 strikes from your discard pile into your deck at number 7. And first I pretty much only had it in here so I could search for my Eye of the Hurricane and put it in my discard. Just easy. There you go. Now my Eye of the Hurricane's spotlight effect is active. But also it comes in handy if you want to just get rid of cards you can't use. Like for instance, where's my side? I run Running Lariat. So if I'm playing against a competitor that has a strike of 9 or 10, I can't use this card. So sometimes I would just use Rainbow Punch to discard that. So then I wouldn't draw it. Then I have all these other cards I can draw. Then I can shuffle my deck anyway and draw a card. And the second effect is also really good because you have the Hurricane. You can shuffle back 2 strikes. I was just talking about how I just fell in love with Lucky Shot. So you can shuffle back Lucky Shot and like another strike, and then you could draw a card. So it's really good in my opinion, Hurricane, because you have like all these multiple uses for it. Abdominal stretch, I at number 18, I kind of added like in the like later stages, I didn't really know what to put in at 18. I did not have the 18 that gives you +2 to your turn roll at the time. So I kind of used abdominal stretch just in case, it's more flip, like just in case I needed cards in discard, I can just flip them there. And then at 15, I ran Crossarm Chicken Wing. Take 1 card from your discard pile and add it to your hand, +2 to your next turn roll. For obvious reasons. Like we're doing a lot of flipping. Cards kind of, especially late game, cards might get stuck in your discard pile. You can just play this and get it back, and usually half the time you can just win the next turn and play it. So especially when you need to get your finishes back, or if you need a card to shuffle cards back, or if you just need a stop, it's really good for that. And like I said, you can search it out with Crossbow. So like there's a lot of things you can put in this slot, but for me, I felt like it was the most optimal. So that's what we went with, and it worked in our favor most of the time. And then last but not least, these cards were pretty much like, add to turn roll, just in case we needed to win some more turn rolls. Headshot at number 16 and reverse head drop at number 17. If you have another strike or grapple respectively in play, your next turn roll is +2. And 10, 11, 12, 10 already has a space. Most people like to run the charging headbutt and charging headbutt, Russian leg sweep, side chin lock, because you can play them by themselves. You get a +1. If you have more of their type in play, you get plus even more. But I chose to go with Taunting Sheep just to change it up a little bit. That way, for whatever reason, if your opponent's turn roll is buffed, you can always, hit it, knock down to a negative. Or like if you're playing against Jay White and you roll a 10. I'm sorry, if you play against Jay White and you play Taunting Sheep, the next turn you roll a 10. He can't, even if he re-rolls, he can't roll that 10, so he can't steal the turn from you. The highest he can hit is a 9. So there's that. That's what my train of thought was for Taunting Sheep or whatever you see me play cards in that play line. So that was the reason for that. But you know, that's my Hurricane deck. Some why I chose to put some cards in it, and you know, other things I could have run, and it worked out pretty good for me. I might switch it up. I might just play somebody else and come back to them. I don't know, but I just felt like sharing. So hopefully that helped somebody out. Even though you want to build a deck or anything like that, if you're interested in playing Hurricane, you don't know where to start. Well, here you go. That's what I did, and you know, I had some success on it. I didn't win a major with it or anything, but you know, I did okay with it. But you know, until next video, I will catch y'all jokers later.